Okay, it's me and David. Okay, so you shoot right in the comments. Let's see what we got. Like your comments? Hi. All right. See the problem? I want to let it go. Because they can hear us. They were talking.
really interesting. Of having a blockchain. Followed by closing remarks and a demonstration by Mr. Barney over there that is very excited to share this with us. So, oh yeah, bathrooms over there, and if you haven't found the donuts yet, it's over there. And please make use of the coffee station and juices. Also, then the team in the room is of course Mr. Brian, Chris, we've got Barney over there. Where's Justin? There we go. And then Nazar, right over there. So yeah, and then we've also got Yaliwe, Ms. Yaliwe Somu. And then Jason and Dr. Robinson and David will be joining us online. So without further ado, Mr. Brian. Thank you.
That was a great job. You know, we usually like to start these events off with a couple of comments about all the people that work so hard to do this. We have a little streaming set up here on this table, which is connected to, I guess, YouTube and Telegram. So anybody who has the link will be able to click it and watch us in there. So this camera is pointing towards me, and they're watching us live right now. We have some fantastic people that are watching us. Some of them could not be here with us, and some of them are, you know, part of the project for many years, and even the people that haven't been here that long. It's an incredible organization across the world. When we work through this kind of technology, we realize that you could never develop anything like this in the United States of America. It takes people in multiple countries with different skill sets over the course of a long period of time, especially when you're merging hardware and software components, and especially with the level of complexity that you're going to see demonstrated today on the device. So we're very excited about that. We're very excited about the opportunity for South Africa and the opportunity for the continent of Africa. And what an amazing time it is to be here. So I want to say thanks to the community. We have people in the United States. It's very early in the morning in the United States of America. So there's some people up, and one of them will join us, David, on the screen. They'll come in and join us, and then we have some other folks who are watching from different countries around the world. So we've got all the time zones covered, and what a great community we have out there, and all these wonderful countries and territories around the world. And I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you guys, because you're really amazing, and really the backbone of what it takes to do something like this in the market. We have some incredible speakers, and I didn't think Yaliwe was going to be here today. So Yaliwe, I had the pleasure of traveling to Durban with Yaliwe, and we did the Traders Fair event in Johannesburg. So just for the record, guys, that was the first time that this phone was shown. Was at the Traders Fair in Johannesburg. And it was the presentation that Yaliwe did, which we filmed and we put out into the community for people to watch. It was fantastic. So we actually have Yaliwe here today, which is quite wonderful. And then there's a few other people online. I think we'll have to kind of watch them as they flow into the channel. And depending on what time they get here, we will add them into the list of events. So it might not be during my presentation, it might come a little bit later, but we'll get to them as we go. So you guys are going to learn a lot about blockchain phones. And I would just like to say one thing. This phone, even though it's packed with all this incredible technology, at the end of the day, it's a regular phone. You can make your phone calls on this, you can surf the internet, you can send text messages. It's got a tray in it where you can put 2 SIM cards. So you can have something from NTN on here, you can have Cell C or Vodacom or Telecom, all on this phone and switch back and forth. So it creates a way for you to switch between carriers, or if you have like an international SIM where you're using data roaming or something like that, you can actually do that on this device. So just from a regular, everyday perspective, you will be able to use this device in anything that you do, any activity you take advantage of today. We also put a special chip inside here for the metaverse people. So these are for the gamers, or in the case of what Justin is going to talk about today, we have a special educational opportunity that we want to talk about to South Africa and to the continent of Africa, which is virtual reality training on the device. So it has a little bit bigger battery in it, and it has 2 chips in it that monitor the location of the device. So you could learn to fly a drone on this. Literally, it's that sensitive. You could sit here and turn it a little bit, so for gaming or any of this kind of thing, it's the perfect type of device because you'll know the exact location of it as you're moving it around. And this helps in a lot of ways because in virtual reality training, it's all about the precision. And we're going to show you an example of that today in the presentation. So me getting to go first, I just want to say thanks to the team. Justin is here from Hong Kong. We all got in here last night, so they're at the various levels of jet lag that they're dealing with. These guys they're pretty tough, we'll find out. They work pretty hard. These guys get the job done. So we really appreciate all their hard work. And we have a great team around the world. So with all that being said, I know we've got some people we need to come up, and I want to hand this over to Yaliwe for a few minutes. She's fantastic and somebody that we love working with. She herself will probably put 2 million phones out in the market. She's just incredible and has been working with some great organizations. So Yaliwe, you want to chat for a few minutes?
Hey, good morning. I'm Yaliwe Soko, and I chair the United African Blockchain Association, and I'm also a business development advisor for Bitmobile. And I think Brian has said quite a lot, so I think I'll go deeper into introducing myself. I think for me, when I met Brian and the team, and I came across the phone, it was actually an answered prayer, right? Because we do a lot of education across the country. So we're talking about education from high level actually to the communities, right? And if we're talking about the communities, we're talking about people that have never even maybe come across certain types of technology. So we were running a training one time in Zambia, and we had a huge problem. The problem was half the room did not have a smartphone, and they needed to download applications, right? They needed to download wallets. They needed to go deeper into this training. They were so eager to learn that we had that problem. And we didn't have a numbers problem. We had a device problem. There was a time a lady came to me and said, I don't have a phone, but can I bring my daughter the next day? At least she's got a phone where I can download this application. Firstly, phones that can actually accommodate those types of applications are actually very pricey. And if we want to be inclusive, it's very difficult to bring people to the table. So when I met Brian and the team, and I looked at the price point of the phone, and like I said earlier on, that was an answered prayer for me. And another thing is that we work with also very high-level people, right? And I know Brian mentioned that I was not supposed to be here today, but I'm here because we're running a program in March, and we're hosting about 5 African governments and teaching them about blockchain and the metaverse and AI, and we're talking about government officials from the presidency. So one thing that they're really concerned about is security, right? and having to introduce a device that assures them that the information will be kept safe. That if they have to get into the space, they have something that's actually going to make sure that a lot of what they put on there doesn't go public. That's also another way for us to actually bring adoption, bring in the regulators, bring in the decision makers. So, like I said earlier, when I came across the phone, I was like, wow, this is an answer great for us, because it will not only make our lives easier, it will also make what we look at achieving much easier. We focused on actually reaching 1 million people on blockchain in Africa. And so far, we have educated about 300,000 people, both virtually and in person, run a number of pilot projects, work with different blockchain organizations. But like I said earlier on, we had a device problem. I reached out to so many providers. I'm not going to mention names because they were actually blockchain phones on the market before we got the Phēnix X, right? But the price point was crazy, and it was very difficult to get adoption. So, like Brian said, yes, we will get 2 million phones out there, or I will get 2 million phones out there because there's a need. There's a need in each sector that we've actually come across. There's a need in each area, like I said, from the bottom up, from top to bottom, there's actually that need. And like I said, I'm not going to say much, but thank you so much, Brian, for having me today. And it's good to see a lot of you guys in the room. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. Thank you.
Fantastic. And this is why we love to work together. I do want a special call out to Nizam. We've got a lot of work to do with Nizam. This is going to be quite amazing to work together. And I say this to everybody in the audience, actually. Each one of you can have a part in this, and we want to propose that as we go through all of this and talk about it. Because part of what getting something like this out there and making the difference in South Africa and across the continent is where everybody plays a part. So whether you're out putting phones in the hands of people, or you're writing software for this, or you're doing some marketing, or you're creating a video, everything that you do is going to touch people. Even if it's 10 people on one day or 5 million people. One broadcast on television, one simple broadcast can blow the sky off of this thing. One little broadcast. So we realize this, and one thing about my past, and we don't brag at all, by the way. We talk about these things from a perspective of life history. But one thing about my past is at Visa International, we rolled out 2 products that were quite amazing, global products, and one you probably use many times in a week or even in a day. You know that little contactless symbol that you have on your credit cards, or if you ever use like NFC payments on a phone? That's technology that was rolled out by Visa. That was one of my projects. And so this is out everywhere in the world. It's in every phone. It's in every car. The cars in my pocket have it. And it's become ubiquitous everywhere you go. So imagine taking that, and I have patents around it. Imagine taking that, designing it, putting it out there, and getting it in the hands of everybody in the world. So we bring this kind of knowledge to the project, and this kind of experience, and we are focused on South Africa like a laser beam. Because we realize, and we wrote a blog article about this, much like Hong Kong is to China, to Greater China, and Justin would know this very well. It creates an entry point into the continent. South Africa is an entry point into the continent of Africa. And in this way, we can touch people all over the place by starting here first and then moving quickly. We'll move quickly to Nigeria and then Kenya. And there's actually a whole presentation on that we could give on another day. It's a very exciting presentation. But it's something that I want to highlight, that we have a very focused plan to get this in the hands, because it's going to help tons of people, millions of people. So that being said, Nizam, we're really looking forward to doing everything together. This is amazing, and your experience is unparalleled in this space, so we're very excited about that, making that happen. So glad to have you here.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so this is, you're talking to a great team here, and Paul, in the short time that we've worked together, what a great time. Has it been a great time?
Yeah.
Have you learned a lot in
Yeah.
the short time we've been doing this? So we pretty much work around the clock. You guys will find out for everything that we do together, for all of you in this room that we end up working together with, you're going to love the project, you're going to love the people, and working hard to get this in the market is going to be a great and exciting thing that each of you get to do. So let's see, did we get anybody else, Chris, who's come on yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
So we have a few people that are, because of our time differences, that'll join us as we go through and get into the next segments. So let me switch over to the next. Barney, are you up next?
Yes.
Let me switch over to the next person, which is Barney. And Barney's going to take us through some incredible technology with the phone and really talk about a lot of incredible things with the Phēnix X. But before I do that, are there any questions from the audience that you want me to answer real quick before I hand this microphone over? Any thoughts, anything you guys want to toss out? Okay, I'm going to hand this to you, Brian, and have fun with it.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Barney Sebert, born and raised in Joburg, but started working with Chris and Brian not too recently. But I'm just going to go over what a blockchain phone is, what the impact is on mobile technology, and then just also the history of blockchain technology in mobile devices. So the first topic that I have would be understanding blockchain phones. Now, a blockchain phone basically incorporates decentralized cryptography. So basically what that means is it's focused on secure transactions, data management, and everything in between, basically. So not only is it a normal phone, but imagine a phone where if you log in with your biometrics, your face, your voice, and anything in between, it's stored securely, decentralized, and no one has access to that except you. So basically what we do on the Phēnix X is we also have all of these technologies built into it, such as voice and face recognition, fingerprints, and everything in between. So you can still log in with your normal PIN, and yeah, everything like that, but it's stored securely and decentralized. So on blockchain phones, there's built-in Web3 apps. So what that basically means is apps that enables you to go into the blockchain and use the blockchain for a lot of purposes. For example, the decentralized finance. And what that means is you have the opportunity from your phone to not only just, but you have the opportunity from your phone to manage all of your assets, whether it's digital or physical assets, and also be able to choose with who you share your information and what information you would like to share. So this basically provides users with complete control over their digital assets and also over their data that is shared. Another thing about blockchain phones that's going to make it a massive thing, or what it is already, is it enables users to enter into the decentralized finance environment and economy. So by having, for example, apps like our cryptic wallets and any trading apps, you can actually access those environments and gain rewards from that. Also, another one would be node mining, which is a very current and recent thing, where you can actually node mine, and that would earn you rewards later on. So not only are you building onto that blockchain, you will also gain rewards from that. And that is something that we are also very focused on. So the history of blockchain technology in mobile devices. Well, if we remember back in 2010, even here in South Africa, it's been quite slow to adjust. But that's when it first started. I mean, that's where the whispers came of Bitcoin, a decentralized application. But the only basic applications were out there was blockchain crypto wallets and Bitcoin-related apps. Whereas if you fast forward just a few years, you can then manage all of your digital assets on your mobile devices. So you could have everything that you need to participate in the economy in your phone. So coming back a bit forward as well, not even too far, but to 2018, the blockchain features would provide you with enhanced security, enhanced enrollment into the environment, and basically that would, the security is one of the most important features that we have. And then around 2021, blockchain phones enabled you to actually tokenize all of your digital assets and keep that with you securely. So starting in this year, we will also be able to provide rewards for using blockchain phones by node mining and just participating in the broader economy. So is there any questions regarding what node mining is or the cryptographic features that are used to secure the phone, to authenticate everything, anything like that?
Yes.
Yes.
What is node mining?
Sorry.
What is node mining?
So node mining is basically where you on your phone, you build onto a blockchain. So if there's multiple phones mining at the same time, they would compete to actually insert the next transactions into the blockchain. So what that would mean is you can gain rewards by actually putting those transactions in before someone else. And that not only creates the crypto, but also creates rewards from that. Yeah.
So what happens if the phone gets stolen firstly? And secondly, how much tracking is with this phone? I mean, you just have to say the word here now and I open Google and then they, everything comes up according to what I said. Is that all prevented?
Well, depending on your permissions, I'll first just answer the tracking side. Depending on your permissions that you allow on your phone, that is still, because that's an external application. But all of the applications that we use or we promote, you would have complete control of your data. It can't be shared because it is still decentralized. It can't be shared. We can't even access the data that's in there. And then the next question was what happens if the phone is stolen? They will absolutely not be able to use that phone. We have multiple ways to prevent that. And so there we have facing portrait conditions where multiple pins, fingerprints, and another feature that I can't talk about yet, but that's a very big one that's coming soon. So that's a question to that.
The thing is, in the past we've always said such securities such as fingerprint and things. We believe as a game that okay, you cannot simply wipe that off. But what makes you so sure that no one will be able to operate that? Because now I'm currently using this phone, there's a fingerprint, everything else. But if someone else takes it, that doesn't give me like satisfaction that I know no one will be able to use it. Somehow they are able to operate that thing or able to do that.
So we have very high grade security with voice and face recognition. I'm sure Brian would be able to confirm that as well. So we have full competency into that product, and as well it's still decentralized. They won't be able to access that information. They won't be able to get your biometric triggers or anything like that. So that's completely safe. The only thing that would be, and which we also cater to that, is if someone scans your face while you're asleep or something like that, that would also be prevented because it needs signs of life. The next thing would also be you can put multiple security factors in at once. So even if you sign in with your face or your voice, you can also then have a password or the other feature that I was also talking about.
So this device is like very close to because like we actually understand blockchain is web based. Is it traceable to actually if I lost it, it's like can I find it easily where it is because of the web based that it has on the phone?
So is the question that if
If I
you,
move first,
yeah,
like toward the feature that you are saying is in the phone that is running before.
yeah.
Can I log in into somewhere like electron trying to trace where the device is?
Well, I mean, it still has Google services on it. So, for example, you can use locate my device. If you have that enabled, that is completely the user's choice whether to enable that or not to enable that. But if that is enabled, that would work the same as any other smartphone. This is, yeah, as any other smartphone, you should still then be able to locate it. So this phone not only incorporates blockchain and encryption and everything like that, but also functions as a normal smartphone.
Yeah, thank you. Just a point of clarity, it's not a question.
Yeah.
Which means if maybe I lost my device, I don't know where it is. Instead of calling maybe a call center or anything, I can just go to Google or to log in on my details, find my device, then I'll be able to locate where it is. Is that correct?
Yes, like I said, it does have Google services, so if you enable that within Google, you should have no problem with using that. But if the phone is lost, there's absolutely no way that someone would be able to retrieve your data, would even be able to log in. That is something that we are 100% sure of. Yeah. Is there anything else from anyone? Yes.
So, are you able to draw the cell phone, like take the data from that phone to the other phone?
To clone a phone? Well, if you're just doing normal cloning, no, that should not be possible. You would be able to back up your data if you have enabled that to back up that. So for example, you get the first model, the new model comes in a few years later, you should be able to get all of your apps, everything like that, but that's still going to require you to, once again, log into all of the applications that you have. So one of our features is not only do we have the security on the phone, but into our applications as well, we have that security built in. We can also sign in with your face, your voice, 12-key generation, everything like that. So even if you clone all of the apps that you have, none of the data that is secure to you will be cloned over. Yeah, if there isn't any more questions, I'll hand that over to the new speaker. And please, if later on, please come to me if you have any questions regarding technology used, how we use it, anything like that. Thank you.
Just Justin?
So yeah, can I add something first?
Yeah, I know Chris probably wants to say something, but I do, that was a great session right there. And one thing that I can highlight about the biometrics, that these are financial grade biometrics. So we did not, obviously bring all that up in the beginning, but what Barney is saying is I really wanted to resonate with how you guys think about your mobile device. Because this phone, you can take your most delicate information, your birth certificate, your pictures of your kids, the deed to your house, your car, anything that you care a lot about, that you want to maintain, your passport. And imagine, we talk about the Aliway story in this regard. So you're born in one country, but you want to go to another country later on. What if you lose all those documents to a fire or a flood or something like that? You have electronically stored them in the blockchain with this environment, which means that it's immutable. Those things don't go away. And you can pass things on to your kids. What's really cool about this product that you see over there, the Uni Safe Box, so this is embedded in the phone. What's really cool about that is you have this thing called an inheritance feature. And God forbid anything ever happened to you, you can actually designate somebody, your wife, an attorney, somebody to take all of your critical information. And if something ever happened to you, it would pass over to that person. So it's based on a date trigger. You set a date, if you don't come back, it does it automatically. And so this is a way that you can carry on your legacy, you can carry, people can live and continue on. And you pass it on to that next person in the family, the eternity, the generation. I know Chris probably wants to say something here, but I wanted to highlight that because it gets into a whole other level of conversation.
Thanks, Brian. Actually, he covered everything I was going to say. It's one addition. When you talked about the different levels of security in the device, we're going to have lots of levels that include the biometrics, and it includes something new that Barney is not allowed to talk about yet. By the way, great job, Barney. Awesome. You as the user, though, can still decide what security you want on that device. We would recommend you use the biometrics and you use this new feature that we're going to launch, but you don't have to. If you decide you want just a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 PIN, that's up to you, okay? But we recommend that you use the enhanced security that's going to be on the device. Because if you do, then there's no way anyone is going to be able to get access to your data. But we want it to be user-friendly as well. So it's up to you to make that balance and make that decision. That's the difference, okay? All right. So I think Justin is next. Did we lose Justin? All right, maybe I'll sing for a few minutes. Maybe Justin is just like taking a break. Okay, what do we do next? All right, let's just see if there's any more questions in the meantime while we wait for Justin.
Just a quick question. To use that the security biometrics, right? Do you need to be connected on Wi-Fi to access that? Because some applications need you to be connected, and some they don't allow if you're not connected on Wi-Fi.
That's a great question. The question is, to use the biometrics, do you need to be connected to Wi-Fi? And the answer is no. Our solution resides on the device itself, and that's one of the strengths. That's one of the best features of that. You don't need to connect to a cloud or anything else. So that's why we like our solution better than you see big tech solutions. Ours looks at many more data points. When we talk about the voice and the face biometrics, our solution looks at a lot more data points in your face, in the sound of your voice, the cadence that you speak than the big tech solutions do. We consider them face identification, where we consider ours authentication. It's a different level of security. So ours is a much more secure solution. But do you have to be connected? The answer is no. You build it into the device, into the operating system, and the apps that use the biometrics, like our Use Safe Box or our Cryptic Wallet or some of the other apps that are going to implement our solution, it resides on the device, and that's the power of the solution. It's encrypted, it's hashed and broken up into several different pieces and stored on a secure element of the device. So if anyone takes your device, there's nothing they can do with it. And the best is there's no cloud to be hacked. Thieves are typically not looking for a one-to-one solution. They don't want to steal your phone. They want access to thousands of people, millions of people's information, and that's why they hack databases. Any one of us are not a big target, because what do we have on one device, right? It doesn't make your device a big target. And even if they get it, they can't find it and decrypt the information that's on there. So it's very secure because it stays on the device, it doesn't leave the device. Okay, thanks. Okay, I think we have Justin back. I'm going to turn it over to you, Justin.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Sorry, hi, I'm Justin. I'm so sorry because I couldn't help, but I ate a lot of donuts, so it's so sweet, and then it's making me comment quite a bit. So sorry, it's not COVID, it's not flu, it's just because of the sweetie, right? It's just make me comment all the time. So okay. So yes, thank you, Paul and Chantal, for the very super nice donuts. I don't have it in Hong Kong. That's why I couldn't have it. Yeah. I'm Justin Lam. I'm based in Hong Kong, but I travel all over the world, actually. Thank you for welcoming me here to South Africa, to this beautiful city. I really, really love it. Haven't got a chance to explore it yet, but I'm going to. So let's see. I'm sure I will survive. So I'm going to talk about a few things, but before that, I give a brief introduction of myself. I'm an advisor for Bitmobile and Phēnix X. I knew Brian and Chris for a long time, especially Brian. We had a couple of ventures together, leveraging financial security solutions, division, Internet of Things and stuff like that. Also, bank grade kind of technology. Banks are very, I can't say fussy, but it's very, very rigid, about the technology. So, so we work on a few ventures together. Now we have this interesting product. I myself is an entrepreneur. I have started a few company. I work with a startup company which end up listed in Tokyo Stock Exchange and in Hong Kong as well. Apart from that, I'm currently also a professor at Hong Kong U and University of London. I teach actually leadership and entrepreneurship, and also in a couple of also a board member of a couple of companies, Bisco fund management company, and also one of the largest incubator in Hong Kong called Hong Kong Cyber World. We have about 7 unicorns so far. So I love technology. I love startup. So I happen to meet Brian and Chris and Bonnie and Yariwei, and now we have something new. So I like to talk about what it takes. Okay. Sometimes we think, well, let me quote Elon Musk. In a lot of cases, people start from having the technology, and they try to create a product out of it. Is it the right path? Ask yourself, right? What about the other way around? Thinking about what we want to achieve, and then source for the right technology, right? This is probably a derivative of what he calls the first principle. So now we have some technology. Should we take a step back and think about what would be a good product? What would be a good product that people need? So now we have this Phēnix X phone, which is a very beautiful phone. But as this gentleman said, well, it's one of the devices. It has those technology. You could get it somewhere, but do you have it in an integrated way which brings values to you? So we look back about several attributes, right? What is the attributes of a successful person, a successful company, or a successful product? So we look back, hey, how about a platform which enable or empower the next generation development? Would that be a problem that is worthwhile solving? Think about that, right? When we want to help people, we want to give them low-end assembling jobs, or bring them up to a high value, high demand positions. I happen to be an educator, but just a latecomer for education. And I wasn't a professor in the past. But when I look back, I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I was lucky enough my father sent me to UK to Imperial College. And then I went to Stanford. I sort of received some very good education. Do we need those educations to be successful? Ask yourself, do we need to be? The great minds actually drop out from the top universities, by the way. I wish I did drop out. Unfortunately, I did better in exams in university than I am in the commercial world. Instead of doing this, why don't we give an opportunity for the young people, young generation here to learn something, have a leapfrog change? We have a great person here, Yali Wei, been teaching ladies on blockchains. on not on being informative, on understanding the beauty while not being fall into scams. Isn't it important? When the world is open, the youth are like me in the safari. I told Brian, last time we came, he wanted to show me to the safari. I said, I'm not going to the open top jeep. You know what that means, right? I'm not going to the open top jeep. I don't want to be eaten. I know Chinese food or Japanese food is delicious to a lot of people. They don't want, I'm worried that, the lions would think, okay, sushi is coming. Right? So when we open up the world, with this platform, we're teaching the kids, giving the kids, young generations, opportunity to learn new things, to be protected in an environment, in an ecosystem that our experts spend time to read, to understand and analyze before bringing those partners into your ecosystem. Think about that. We open up and let them do their things, or hey, here is a platform. Here's the technology. We enable it. We kind of glorify it, and then put them in here so that you can use it on a device, which actually have super big battery, great connectivity, which wouldn't worry about load shedding. Right? And on the other hand, can they make money out of it? Learning, can they make money out of it? Well, not just money. Learning rewards could be knowledge, could be eye-opening perspective, could be financials too, sometimes. I had the privilege to meet Yanei, also another lady called Irene Kiwi, if I remember correctly, in Joburg. She founded a company called Adanian Laboratories. You know what she did was fascinating. She was teaching young people on programming, on programming and technology, on mobile, creating e-commerce. Okay? Isn't it good? Yeah. But me as an entrepreneur and at the same time a professor, I was thinking, can we take it further? Can we go an extra mile? If you have young people, oh, by the way, Adanian sponsor those people, young people, to start their own company too. What about we have scholarship in the future? Oh, what about this? Scholarship not enough. What about business? If there is an e-commerce site, how does e-commerce make money? How could they survive? Transactions, right? Could we use this for cross-border transaction opportunities with payments? On that front, under a safe environment. That's how I see it. And this platform has just born. We need partners to join, to be part of it. How big would that be? I have no idea, honestly. But it will grow. Digital transformation or blockchain transformations nowadays is giving a platform, giving the right tools and attributes for us to grow. Right? That's where we are right now. So, and by the way, I'm not technical, but I think for a successful product, it needs a platform, open up a great ecosystem, rewarding, right? Worthwhile to do it, secure tools, say cutting-edge tools, safe environment, and by the way, education. Our friends here, this young lady, by the way, everyone before me is young. And your sister young. I'm very old, by the way. I happen to have some nice Chinese character in me now. And then education, right? Not the typical sexual education. The government is doing this, right? Can we complement it? I was an investor. We've been viewing companies, we've been evaluating companies. Sometimes we see a company worth investing is those who continuously reinvent themselves and continuously learning. So we give them good products, good educations to learn. All right? So that's where we're coming from. So I am not able to develop so much courses. We depend on each one of you. Even though I came from a university background, partially, it's hard to deliver everything on my own. I'm not expert in anything. If I tell you I'm expert in everything, that means I'm not good at anything. So we need experts. By the way, I'm also an advisor for Oxford University's innovation consulting arm or center. So I love technology. I love innovation. I love entrepreneurship. I like young people. I personally have 3 kids. So, but by the way, my factory is closed. No more. Factory closed. Yeah. So next is about the scholarship we're having. Are we going to have videos? So which one?
Let's open the other tabs.
This. Yeah. The donut is a killer.
Yes.
No sound. So while they're doing this, do you have any questions? Yes. Yes.
So what's compared to like what we know about this like sensor level, how the camera, what is the
Yeah, this is a really great question. So if you take a look at like the series of phones that are on the market today, it's going to look a lot like that Samsung A series. It's going to be very, very similar to that. But this comes with so much more. They're going to be right on the same price point. So it's not an expensive phone. We made sure of that. A lot of people that have tried to implement blockchain phones have put them out there at $1,000 in US dollars. So the $1,000 would be 800 or 600. So we'll be much, much less than that because we really want this to be in the hands of everybody. So all that technology comes with the phone in a way that adds incredible value. What do you guys have to say?
Yeah. Well, again, it's similar to an A series of Samsung, but it cannot be too expensive. It cannot be. We take it like an open, or a device which is open enough, which is a lot of people can afford. Where we could, somewhere, somehow, we talk to our family office who's willing to raise, who donate a little bit to help the young people, then we can buy more devices. But it's more important is the content which comes with that, such as training, such as education. We believe that's actually more important, so that it go bigger and farther and all this stuff. One quick thing I'd like to show you is when OpenAI seek investor, they go to Bill Gates. Right? He asked a very interesting question. So you know what is that? He said, "Can ChatGPT handle university exams?" Then it's going to skyrocket. Why is adoption? Because they want more people to be able to use it. Right? Likewise, our device is similar. So we want more people, more young people able to afford it and leverage that. But more importantly is behind the technology that they can learn and build upon. I think that we believe that's more important.
Let's say AI question of the phone. What chips are you
MTK is MTK chipset. Yes, it's not the very expensive one, but it's in the past you need the very, very top-end phone to perform. Nowadays, mid-to-low-end phone is super powerful. We don't need a $2,000 phone anymore. 150 is actually good enough. If you look back, our phone is as capable. Our phone 3 to 5 years ago is as good as what we need right now, actually. So yeah, we don't need the super high end, but it's good enough and it's affordable. I think that's the purpose of it. Rather than super expensive or make lots of money, that's not what we're after. We want to. I'm not very young anymore. I don't really have a message. Okay, let's take a look at this video.
Elevate your HVAC or refrigeration career with online training. Whether you're in the field or aspiring to join, HVACREDU.net offers over 2,400 hours of accredited courses to boost your skills and marketability. From seasoned professionals to newcomers, our courses are designed for immediate application, ensuring that you stand out. With the HVACR industry booming, there's never been a better time to advance your career and your education. Dive into immersive learning with virtual tools and real-world scenarios, enhancing your expertise from anywhere. These virtual lessons help bring practical online education to near real-world reality. Introducing the HVACR Training for Africa Scholarship, a unique opportunity for African students to gain in-depth skills and join a growing industry. Apply at links.hvacredu.net/Africa by February 29th, 2024, and take the first step towards a promising career. Ready to transform your career? Visit hvacredu.net. Education is a lifelong journey, and we are all in it together. Your future in HVACR starts now.
Isn't that fun? This is one of the many we're going to bring in. But meanwhile, we have a special guest online. So
We do.
Yeah.
We have a special guest. We're going to pause Justin for just a moment.
So this guest, Dr. Robinson, who should be in the back room, I think, right? You see him there? So this video that you guys just observed, this is all designed.
Sorry about that. Try again.
You know what? That's old technology. Old. That's old technology.
One more time. That was interesting.
So this, what you guys will see is, what we're doing is we're trying to switch over to the live broadcast, which is coming out with the laptop here. So that speaker just got turned on. We're going to activate this laptop. And then we are going to queue up Dr. Robinson. Dr. Robinson is in Nigeria. So we met Dr. Robinson at the AfricaCom conference, just nearby over here at the convention center. And we spent some time with him, and we're starting to work with him to open up the Nigerian market. There's a lot to do in Nigeria. There's such endless things to do. And
Just needs to come online. Just needs to open his camera. He's good to go.
okay, Dr. Robinson, if you can come up and mute and turn on your camera. I need to turn this off. Dr. Robinson, can you hear us?
Just needs to come on. We have him on.
Yeah, looks like it is.
Probably has to reconnect.
Okay, is that activated over there?
Yeah, it looks like you dropped his connection. He should be right back.
Oh,
Okay, so, any other questions you'd like to ask?
yeah, we can do some questions.
Yeah, sorry, just one. The device, how many years of support are we looking at once it's out? I mean, obviously, you guys are also working on a 5G model that is going to come out at some point in the future. But the market you're looking at wants to buy an affordable device and have it for as long as possible in terms of software support. Can you tell me a bit about that part?
It's a fantastic question. So the device that is launching now, by the way, we have a slide on this coming up, which we'll talk about ICASA. You guys know who ICASA is. This is an active project underway to get the type approval validation through ICASA. And once that happens, this phone will be ready to launch on the website and take payments and actually put the first order in. So it's pretty imminent, within a few weeks out. And we have a slide on that.
We have Dr. Robinson.
Okay, so can I finish answering?
Of course.
Dr. Robinson, you need to come off mute and you can speak.
Hello, good morning, Chris, and good morning, Brian. Just confirm if you can hear me.
I think the audio is not disconnected.
Yeah, I think
Just a moment, Dr. Robinson. We need it again, please.
Yeah.
Just a moment, please. They need to turn it on.
You know, I really think we need to find new ways to handle things. Right? We always talk about tradition, right? There's a traditional way of doing things. Why is that? Because when it developed, it based on the old community, old environment, and old technologies. When we want to do new things, we want new technology. Right? That's why I think we hope to have develop a platform that we have new things to do things, to get things done.
It appears Dr. Robinson is having a connection issue.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Robinson, please
But
try again.
I can hear
the
you.
sound resolved.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Turn us on mute. Can we shoot on mute?
Okay, so I think you need to mute at that end so it doesn't take the sound and echo back. All right. So can I go on? Can I start?
Can I start? Yes, you can start. Yes.
Hello. Can you just confirm with the okay? Yeah.
my class right here.
All right.
About the support on the phone in terms of longevity and the 5G coming out eventually.
I'm going to set up the video. So if you don't mind
Can you answer that one? So, a technical thing I would ask.
Yeah, so this is a great question because when you think about the device itself, and to Justin's comments, by the way, you guys are first in line. I can't tell you how many people, in fact, one of our mutual friends, Justin introduced me to in Hong Kong. He was buying Bitcoin when it was pennies. And they had a cafe in Hong Kong where you could actually, and imagine back in the day when Bitcoin first came out.
Don't tell the story.
Right?
I'm so painful.
You had Mt. Gox and all this. Remember that when Bitcoin came out and you had.
I was speaking to James that when Bitcoin was $200. And I did not invest much. I did not invest at all. So who is the silly guy? When Bitcoin was $200.
And look at it.
So I'm not the, so you can see tears in
So we're hanging out, we're chatting, we're going through this whole thing. And so a cafe in Hong Kong set it up where you could use your Bitcoin to buy coffee. Like you could go in and buy a cup of coffee. And I forget what he paid, 5 Bitcoin or something for a cup of coffee.
No.
And it was just wild. And I was thinking at the time, oh, that's too much. That's too much to pay for a cup of coffee. Had we known differently then? Because it's all about, you get in the beginning and you don't realize it. When you're there at the start of something, you don't realize what it is until later. And it's like, oh my gosh, I missed that. It just took off. So that's why he tells you that story, to kind of get you thinking about what we're doing here. Knowing that this thing has taken about a 7-year trip to get here. And this thing is just at the beginning of its cycle getting out there. So when we take your question, thinking about all this, you're looking at the first generation phone, which ICASA will approve in a couple of weeks. And by having ICASA, you open up 10 other countries in Africa because they have a sharing mechanism. You get type approval here and it carries forward into other countries. And so we see this as a great advantage. We're talking about South Africa being a stepping stone. So there'll be probably 3 or 4 generations of this phone and this chipset and just a couple minor technical improvements to it to continue to multiple cycles. But 5G is going to take a long time now. Let's face it. And it may be that you skip 5G and go to 6G. We just have to see. We don't know yet. But the adoption of 5G has been pretty slow. And it's true in the United States. I have a 5G phone and I can't even use it. And I travel all over and I rarely really connect to a true 5G signal. It's rare. So even in the United States, it's the same thing. But it's a technology that we may bypass and go to the next one. And for other reasons, geopolitical reasons, as you guys know, the 5G technology.
I think, more importantly than the 5G is the question about support and the length of that support. You're saying there's going to be a number of generations of this. Are you talking 4, 5, 6 years of software support before Gen 1?
Absolutely. You're going to have multiple cycles of support. So this phone itself may change from a couple of hardware perspectives, but the software will continue to be updated and added in there and upgraded and enhanced as we go forward. So we basically have quarterly releases. I think if you were to net it all out, it would probably be like a quarterly release schedule. And so there's going to be functional increases, and we listen to the market, by the way. So a lot of our conversation is with the community and the people that use the products and provide feedback. And so we're constantly looking for that feedback and making improvements and enhancements. So we call it incremental improvements. But we're also looking ahead, and we will learn from you, especially working with you guys, what the next features need to be. And some of that is just being in the market and getting that experience, with this phone in the hands of millions of people. And the other is just, working through, one-off conversations we have with the community, where somebody's just doing something for us and they say, hey, wouldn't it be nice to have this new feature? And we always look at these things because the customer is correct in all cases. So we always want to focus on what the customer is telling us and work with them. So you get excellent support on this. Oh, was it Chris?
Yeah, hi, Chris here. Great project that we have there, Brian, and everyone else. I think it's urgently needed for blockchain phones. I'm not quite clear. You mentioned the software, and a few times you guys spoke about operating system, etc. Is it an Android operating system,
Yes.
standard, or is it a open Android-based custom version?
So we forked some part of it, but it's 90% pure Android. And so it's Android 13. 13 is what has been the model for phones up until February, and then Android's moving to version 14. So there'll be a little bit of interplay there while they work through their bugs. And so just like an iPhone increase, they'll go through and work through their bugs. And so 14 will be stable later in the summer.
Sure.
So this will launch on 13.
From so does a user needs a Google account to use it, or am I completely decoupled and can use it without ever touching the Play Store?
You can basically use 90% of what's on here without ever touching Google. There are a couple things where we're sort of de-interfacing, like we have an AI interface in one of the applications, which requires you to sign into Google, and that we're going to an API so you don't have to do that.
Okay, but basic services, connectivity, data, voice, etc., that does not require the login to Google.
No, you can use whatever you use today. If you have a special SIM you want to put in the phone, you can use that. The software from an app that you load, whatever you want to do. It's not dependent on Google.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
Can I ask a bit of a controversial one? So we know that in Canada during the trucking protests, governments have these people figures into people's bank accounts. And there's a huge risk now of that happening in Europe, it happened in Greece. It's not an uncommon thing. We're talking about devaluation of the fiat dollar. How does this secure your financial assets? Or can it secure it above what is existing at the moment?
Yeah, this is a very insightful question, because when we think about the technology, decentralized technology, this in fact, and we've had some philosophical conversations on that particular topic. In the decentralized finance world, you have wallets that you are maintaining that contain the equivalent of like US dollars. One of the events we're talking to Yoliwe about, which is Tether, USDT. There's also USDC, and these sit inside decentralized wallets. Those are not controlled by anybody but you. You have control of those. You have your 12 or your 20 keywords or whatever it is, and by granting, you granting yourself access to your wallet, you control those funds, you control when they're used. Nobody can block that. And that's the beauty of the decentralized technology. Now, if you keep all your money in a bank and that's where it's sitting, that can be closed down without you being able to intervene. So yeah, that's the beauty of the platform, is it basically supports any kind of decentralized activity. And it's blockchain agnostic, by the way. It's blockchain agnostic. So we are running a full Cosmos blockchain. We are. And we run that because we have some products that use the Cosmos technology. But we're also using Constellation Network. If you guys are familiar with that, that's a layer 0. So we're using Constellation Network. We also do things with Ethereum, in the Ethereum network. And we have our token running on Avalanche. So the Avalanche network. And there's going to be an app on the phone from Avalanche. So they'll have something that they support on the device, some of their technology. But here we are at Cardono. Right? Look at where we are. And so, you think about all of the types of interfaces that we have. We're agnostic. We work with it. Chris probably wants to talk now.
Oh, if there's questions, let's take them.
How does it compare to Solana's Saga from 2025 of attention?
That's a great one to
How does
take.
it get that?
So we actually get this question all the time. And it's a very probing question because when you look at Solana, they designed, the first one that went out was just way too expensive, even for US people. It only sold a couple thousand, and then they had to drop the price by $400 to sell the rest of those phones. And they've since come back and they've refurbished it. The way we talk about Solana is we don't want to take anything away from it. By building something like this, it takes a lot of money and a lot of effort and time and skilled people in many different regions around the world. So we don't want to say, oh, that's a terrible phone. It's a decent phone. It's at a different price point than what we are doing. So if you look at their pricing, it's much higher, and it is focused on one blockchain, and that's the Solana blockchain. So you kind of pick your battles. Is that where you want to park your decentralized finance future? Is that the thing you want to take aim at and stay there? Or do you want something that's agnostic and gets you into all the chains and gives you access to decentralized services all around the world on layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, whatever it may be? That's the Phēnix X. So we differ in a lot of ways from what they have. They've got good technology. We would never take that away from them. But it's a totally different animal, and the price is much higher.
Okay, I'm going to try to pick up the pace here. We had a little technical glitch as you saw. Thanks for bearing with us. What I'm going to try right now is a video that we brought as a backup. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk to Dr. Robinson because he is all about education. And we're working with him to bring education through the device. You heard Justin talk about that a lot. So I won't say anymore. But what I have here for you is a demo video that David, we have our lead developer on the metaverse and on this HVAC our EDU effort, where we're taking their content, right? They're the biggest HVAC training company, online training company in the States. And we're taking their catalog and we're taking it from basically a text-based learning environment into the metaverse, right? So we wanted to show you an example of that. We actually were going to have David run the demo live from New York, but with the issues we were having, we told him go to bed. We'll just use your backup video instead. So that's what this is to give you a taste of what it looks like. And if the sound doesn't work, I apologize. We're going to continue. We're going to go without the sound and just show you what the environment looks like and what we're building.
So we're going to disconnect the original macro gauge text. In this step, we're going to put our PPE on, our gloves, and our glass.
So what this is, it's an initial module, right? It's an initial module for a technician to start to learn about how they do certain things, how they use certain tools. This is just an example of what we put together for them already. It's really about using some basic tool set. And we've got about a minute here. Technology just won't cooperate today. It looks like it's buffering. One more time.
This is a classic example where new meet the old.
Our gloves and our glasses. And we answer our first question. It's essential to wear PPE. We're going to prepare our gauges with the equipment being on or off.
instead of digital pages in the toolbox. And we pan to the right. Now we click on this highlighter, and we're able to see our gaskets. Now we inspect them. Yes, they are clean. We inspect those, and next we are tasked with getting the information from our data plate. We click on the data plate to interact with it, and we verify that the factory charge and refrigerant type are corresponding to our use in our digital medical pages. And we click this R button a couple of times until we see our R410A, which is what the data plate does. There we go. So as you can see here, check closes stamp rating. So now we have to identify the service ports. We remove our caps, shredded caps, and now we're asked, do the service ports have a shredded port or no shredded port? They have a shredded port. We're tasked with attaching the hoses to our service ports. So we have to attach our high side, which is the red, and our low side, which is the blue. Click on our red hose, click on the body, and that's our high side. Now click on the blue one, click on the body, and that's our low side. So prior to purging our hoses and manifolds, ensure that our port valves we will shut the unit down. We're going to purge the system. To purge the system, we have to use a big yellow hose and the manifold. So go ahead and open our manifolds and open our shredder valves in here, ball tops, and then we'll finally open our yellow. And this will purge some of the system here, some of them will be refrigerant. Sorry, and then we have to shut this off right away. We cannot continuously purge this. Close it. Perfect. And now we have purged the system. Now we reattach this, and that will do for this segment. After this, we will move on to purging the mirrors and further questions in this module.
Okay. So thanks for watching that. The idea behind that is everything that you've seen is what we've developed using Unreal Engine 5, which is a gaming engine. So the intent is to have people, and David goes through it really fast. That's not the way someone who's a student would go through it. The idea is to have someone who's a student be able to go through at their own pace and learn rather than just reading text. So they can actually see what a system will look like before they go out in the field. They'll see what the service ports look like, so they know exactly what to look for in the field. They'll be able to use digital twins of the tools. You saw that manifold set that they will be using in the field to check the temperatures, check the pressures, and so forth. The intent is to have them actually diagnose and do repairs in the field, at home, before they ever actually go out in the field. The industry calls it truck ready. They want people who understand how to do it already, so when they send them out in the field that day, they know how to get the job done. And that's what this is designed to do. So that's what their catalog is. It goes from paper, it goes from just text to read and answer questions, to have that engaging environment. And the student can go back and forth and go at their own pace. If they need to stop because, let's say, they have a day job and they're learning at night to get a new job, they can do whatever stage they want, go through it incrementally to learn the skills. And the important part about that is, or the additional part of that is, HVAC is making scholarships available. Keep that in mind when you leave here today. If you happen to know anybody who's interested in taking training and maybe wants to get in that field or explore it, they're making 30 scholarships available for Africa, where people can get full scholarship to the content in their portfolio, and they can learn. And what we're going to do, in addition to that, is we're going to give them a Phēnix X when they come out, so they have a platform to use to get that training. So the application process closes at the end of this month. So don't wait. Promote it. Let people know if there's anyone we know who might have an interest in that field to get in there. It's a really great program, and it'll give them the skills they need to move forward. Okay, I'm going to pick up the pace here a little bit and talk just a little bit about the press coverage and things we've done so far. It's really about communications. The point I want to make here is that you can see what we've done to talk about the Phēnix X for the last, 8 to 10 months or so. We started with a press release where we announced the relationship with HVAC REU and that we're doing work in the metaverse. Then we talked about taking that curriculum and translating it into Spanish language. So now that gives us language audience. And we'll be moving into Latin America at some point. Oh, thanks. Thank you. I'll let them do that. My mistake. So that broadens their audience and broadens the appeal of the program. We then did a press release around an NFT launch that we did with several partners. What is that about? Not necessarily education, but what it's doing, in addition to talking about HVAC art EDU and Spanish language, it's starting to build the credibility, build the capabilities, and let people know in the marketplace what we can do. When we get our hands on the technology, what we can deliver. Remember, we're thinking about the Phēnix X as a platform, not just as a mobile device. It's a way to deliver education and information as well. We talked about the 4G certification in December, so we're almost there. We're almost there to market ready. And then we talked in January, we did a press release around 30 scholarships. So again, we're building that credibility, we're building that knowledge in the marketplace. And with all these press releases, now we do global press releases. And take a guess. You can guess as to how many impressions we get, but there are hundreds of thousands of impressions each. I think they each were distributed on average to over 500 media outlets, 500 to 600. So they've gotten a pretty good distribution. But how much do you think in Africa? How much of all those impressions did we get in Africa on these press releases? What percent? Take a guess. Anyway.
75.
Less than 1%. So here we are building all this effort for Africa and putting out these global press releases, and we're not getting the traction in Africa. So we started doing what brought you here today, as you probably saw on Facebook or heard through your network about this event. We just started using Facebook as a channel. We didn't realize how important Facebook is as a channel in Africa. We've gotten over 500,000 impressions on a very limited advertising budget, on a very limited time frame that campaign was out there. So it's starting to take off. We're getting traction there. So why do I mention all this? It's all about the opportunities to work together in the future. And when we had some individual conversations earlier, we focused on that. It's about how do we work together? You're here today to learn about this, but how do we engage you? How do you engage us to get the message out into the marketplace and to make this happen? Before we get there, we'll talk. I have another slide to talk about that. I wanted to just cover some of the things that may be obvious to you, but I wanted to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities for blockchain phones to follow up with what Barney was talking about earlier. The biggest obstacles we see at this point are consumer awareness. People don't know what a blockchain phone is, or even what the blockchain is, right? Galloway, she knows that firsthand. So it's an understanding of the technology. We need to help change that. We need to help educate the marketplace. Adoption trends, we know, will vary by region, area of the country, or the world, and certainly will be influenced by regulation, as Justin was talking about, and cultural perceptions, and the just overall acceptance of new technology. The opportunities are vast, though, and we believe it's going to come through a well-structured educational program like we're doing with HVAC art EDU. If we can structure it well, deliver the information, and deliver the value to people at the end, it will pay off. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is the opportunity. Well, one of the things that makes the Phēnix X different, other than its price point and its technology, is the ability to earn rewards. And we can talk more about that. So how can we launch the Phēnix X together? Collaboration is the key. No matter what we do, it's going to need collaboration, and that's why we want to work with you and talk to you about how we can bring those efforts across Africa. The roles and responsibilities, which we are going to talk about in a lot more detail in a few minutes, include things like people who can sell. People, if you're interested in selling the device, that's what you'd like to do. You're a good salesperson. You know the industry, or you want to learn the industry, we'll work with you, and you can get out there and sell it. Are you a channel partner? Do you want to help sell to people that you already work with? Do you have a big network, whether it's your social media influencer, or you have a big technology following on YouTube? Whatever the case may be, we would love to talk to you about that. How can we work together? Do you specialize in outreach? Are you a marketing specialist? and you know technology or you want to learn technology, there's opportunities in that space as well. We talked a little bit about this, I think, sporadically through the day, but the key milestones to keep in mind are CE certification is done. That's the big one. We're waiting on ICASA, and we believe that that testing and that approval will be done this month in February, which positions us really well to begin to start taking orders next month in March. We expect, we haven't talked much about the factories where we work with who produce the foam for us, but they have high production capabilities. So we can go from thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of devices in a very short time frame if we need to. So as traction builds, we can meet any demand that the market puts in front of us. We believe we can get those first phones delivered at the end of second quarter, well, during second quarter, excuse me, and we expect the third quarter to be a much bigger upgrade in the devices that we're delivering to market. So that's our call to action. And we talked a lot about today about the technology, but how do we work together? How do we make this happen for us and for Apple, for all of us? So I think this is a break point. I'm going to give the mic over to Brian to make a few closing remarks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shut off the live feed and we're going to dig into the types of relationships, compensations, agreements we can have to work together. So we can kind of really give you an idea of where our mind is, and we get some feedback from you as to what your level of interest is and where your interest is to partner with us. If so. So Brian, why don't you come on up? You can close it out.
Thank you so much. So, guys, we're going to segue into another section of it. Let me just check with everybody on the team and see if anybody has comments. Barney, do you want to say anything to wrap up?
No, just after this, I will be demoing a few of the apps that we have preloaded on there, like our cryptic wallet, our authentication app, our education app, and as well as the UniSafe box. So if you would like to see that, just come to me. We'll put it onto the screen while there's networking, and I'll give you a rundown of how that works and how that is secure and everything like that.
Yeah, that's actually a very powerful part of this, is making sure everybody sees the demos. I think it's important that you guys have an opportunity to see the software and engage on that. Let's see, Justin, did you have any final comments, or Chris? You guys are okay? Paul? Nizam? Anything you want to throw in?
No, I think just often put it across this month.
Fantastic. Great, because ICASA is a really big deal. So what we're going to do is I just want to say thanks to the community. I know we have some guys in different countries. In the United States, it's early in the morning. So you're going to have people that maybe they had some popcorn or something and they stayed up and watched this. But many will watch it later. And there's a bit of magic that takes place after this finishes. They go in and they chop the video up into lots of segments and they throw them out on YouTube. And then thousands of people will watch this over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So they'll make little promotional videos out of this. It's really nice, you know, the kind of stuff that comes out of these events. And we were working with Becky. Becky would be a great one to work with to help do some video work. And we're going to have 2 of these events in Johannesburg. So next Saturday, we're going to be at Adanian Labs and do one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So this was just a one-time shot here in Capetown. And then we're going to spend the time, we've got a lot of people to meet with and talk to here in the next few days. But a lot of this team will be back and forth. Barney is here full time, so he lives here. Yeah. So he's quite easy to reach on the time zone, but a lot of us will be here over time, here locally. And we roll these things out internationally and lived in countries for a couple of years at a pop to help roll things out. So you'll have access to us anytime you need us. Yaliwe, any final comments? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll cut this feed, Chris, I guess. And thanks so much to the community. We really appreciate everything you guys are doing. And thank you again so much.